There are some pressures that come so strong that if you don't move, you're going to die. How could you let me die and I'm a child of God? You didn't move. I told you to move. And when God tells you to move, you got to move. And don't act like God has failed you when you have failed to move. You're resigning from your own destiny. You're resigning from your own purpose. You're resigning from what God called you to do. And you're going to be out of place for a while. It's okay. I know you smell right now. I know you don't have the right clothes right now. I know you don't have the degrees they have. But if God invited you into the room, walk up in that room. Jacob has told his sons, you will not defeat the famine looking at each other. Did you hear what I'm saying? Watch how Jacob handles the famine. Because my first point is the famine. And until you can deal with the famine, you will never get to better. Because the famine is a part of your journey. How you react to the famine determines whether you make it to the food. You've got to be aggressive. You can't just pray against the famine. You've got to do something. Jacob says you can't just pray against it. You can't just look at each other. You can't stay in the same spot and do the same things that you've always done and expect to get a different result, because we're in a famine and you've got to take action. And we don't understand that today. We don't understand the human requirement in the miracles of God. As much as we have read about the miracles of God, we walk away with praise to God, but absolve ourselves of human responsibility. As if God were going to act outside of human effort, when God has created us to be collaborative in the miraculous. Oh, I'm talking already. He wants us to be collaborative in the miraculous, that we have a responsibility to take action and to be aggressive about resolving issues. Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you get to pray for a job and stay at home. I'm just going to pray. If the Lord wants me to have the job, he'll give me a job. I'm just going to watch TV and hit the remote control and believe God for better. You'll never get to better if you don't get on the road. You gotta get on the road in the middle of famine. They're traveling in the middle of a famine. Now, traveling is not fun anytime, but traveling in the middle of a famine is a very difficult time, because the famine is so severe that Jacob says, if you don't move, you're going to die. Now, I don't know who I'm talking to tonight, but there are some pressures that come so strong that if you don't move, you're going to die. How could you let me die and I'm a child of God? You didn't move. I told you to move. And when God tells you to move, you got to move. And don't act like God has failed you when you have failed to move. When God says move, you have to take action, whether you're the prodigal son who came to himself, but he still had to go home. Or whether you're the woman with the issue of blood who believed that Jesus could heal her, but she still had to crawl. Or whether you're blind Bartimaeus standing by the highway side begging, he still had to come out of his coat and go toward Jesus. There is a human responsibility in spite of the famine. So you got to move in the middle of a famine, in the middle of a need, in the middle of a storm, in the middle of a crisis. And he sends his boys to go from Canaan to Egypt because Jacob heard where there was food. Don't hate on people who have even when you don't have. Because he didn't hate on Egypt. He said, I'm going to Egypt. See, we sit back and hate on people as if them having is our demise, when it's not them having that is our enemy, it's us not moving that is our enemy. And the Bible says that though they didn't have any corn, they had money. And people don't quote it too much, but the Bible also says that money is the answer to all things. It's the answer to all things. If it's a thing, money can buy it. There are some issues that cannot be resolved by things, but money answereth all things. So Jacob told the boys, he gave them some money and said, go down to Egypt and don't go down there begging. We came down here to do business. Yeah, we're spiritual people, but we know how to do business. We praise Jehovah, but we still know how to do business. Y'all not saying nothing to me tonight. See, the church has failed its parishioners because we have been real heavy on the praise and real light on the business. So we told them to praise your way out and dance your way out and spin around 3 times and you're going to come out, and sow a seed and you're going to get out. But we don't tell them that you've got that the blessings are transactional, that there's a business element required in it. And we got to go back and lay some foundation to understand that Jacob does not go down to Egypt to beg. He goes down there to do business, and he sends his sons down there to do business. But wait a minute, you have to realize, as we begin to talk about the famine, we have to understand that the famine is so severe that it pushes them to Egypt. Now, the second thing I want you to see about the famine is that God will use a famine to move you. It doesn't have to be a famine for food. It can be a famine for love. It can be a famine for peace. But in everybody's life listening at me, whether online or in the room, you have experienced some kind of famine. The famine of fatherhood, the famine of family, the famine of a mother's affection, the famine of a good job, the famine of a nice house. All of us have our famines. You might not be able to see it because we might dress nice and spray cologne over top of it, but all of us live with some level of famine in our lives. Famine makes you pray, and famine makes you seek God, and famine makes you cry out, and famine will make you move. And oftentimes, God will use famine as an instrument to force you out of your comfort zone. It is more comfortable to stay in Canaan, but the famine will drive you out. It'll make you move. It'll make you get outside of your comfort zone. It'll make you travel. It'll put you on the road. Somebody say, I'm on the road. I'm not on the road for a field trip. I'm not on the road joyriding. I'm on the road to better. I'm on the road to better. There's something I'm after. There's something I want to see done in my lifetime. And I'm tired of sitting around assessing the same old troubles and crying about the same old problems and going through the same old things. I'm tired of complaining one to another back and forth. Oh, ain't it bad? Yeah, child, it's real bad. It's so bad. I got to move from here. Deliver me from people who will not take action in the famine. And God says action is required on you. You got to get on the road. And that's anytime you can't rebuke it with a prayer, anytime you plead the blood and it doesn't go away, anytime you call on God and it still stays there, then God is using the famine as an instrument to move you from one place to the other. If it was the devil, I could rebuke it. If it were demonic warfare, I could overcome it. But when God sends a famine to make you move, it is something in his providence that cannot be performed where you are, and you've got to move in order to get it. And God knows that some of us won't move if we're too comfortable. Y'all aren't going to talk to me tonight. And so God uses the famine to force them to move, and they go down to Egypt to do business. Now, it is interesting to note that though there is a famine in Canaan, there is also a famine in this family. So my second point deals with the family. You have to understand that this text brings out subtly, ever so subtly in the text, I want to point it out to you. First thing that it tells us about Jacob is that Jacob sent his sons down to Egypt to buy. But then it mentions that he did not send Benjamin, lest he fall into mischief. And this is just a hidden, subtle reminder that Jacob doesn't totally trust his own sons. Now, where did this distrust come up in the culture of this family? This distrust comes up into the culture of the family. And you can act like you don't know what I'm talking about, but all of us have different little things that we know about our family that when cousin so-and-so comes over, you kind of look at them out the corner of your eye because you've been through some things where you've learned some things. And this culture has risen up in the family that the family is not fruitful and Canaan is not fruitful. And there is not the comfortable, loving environment of trust that would cause the family to be a nurturing place, because Jacob remembers what happened to Joseph. The last time Jacob sent one of his sons out with the rest of the sons, he turned up missing. And there's a residue of distrust in the old man with his sons that he says, I'm going to keep Benjamin. Now, the reason he's holding on to Benjamin and he let the rest of them go is that Joseph and Benjamin were born to him by Rachel, and Rachel was the love of his life. And the reason he's holding on to Benjamin is because that's all he's got left of Rachel. And he says, if I lose Benjamin, I'll lose all I have left of the best days in my life. And sometimes we hold on to things because we've been through so much pain that we become possessive. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. There's a reason you hold on to what you hold on, whether it's money or people or things. There's a reason you hold on to. There's a reason that certain things make you mad. There's a reason that you overreact in certain ways. There's a reason that if we hit certain pulse points, you respond differently than other people, because until you understand what I've been through back here, you won't understand why I'm holding on to this right here. What do you hold on to because of what you've been through? What do you hold on to because of what you've been through? For Jacob, the old man is holding on to the last smell of Rachel. When he holds Benjamin, it's the last reminder of a happier moment in his life. And he is so afraid of losing Benjamin, because Rachel, the barren woman, has birthed 2 sons unto him. And one of them Jacob thinks is dead, and Benjamin is all he got left. Anytime you think this is all you got left, you will hold on real tight. Whether it is true or not, you will hold on real tight. If you think that this is the last person that will ever love you, you will take stuff that you wouldn't normally take. You will go through things you wouldn't normally go through. And your girlfriends will tell you, if I was you, I wouldn't take that. And your mama told you, you need to get away from there. But you keep holding on to it because you've been hurt before. And anytime you've been hurt before, you hold on to something when you think you won't get anymore. I wonder tonight how many people are holding on to some sort of Benjamin in your life, holding on to it out of fear, not out of love. He's not clutching him out of love. He's clutching him out of fear. Be careful what fear will make you do. And I'm looking at it. Jacob is an old man. And the older you get, the more precious everything becomes. And Jacob is holding on to Benjamin. And he's saying, Joseph is not. And now Simeon is not. You ain't taking my Benjamin. I'm wondering what you're squeezing too tight. What are you squeezing out of fear? See, Jacob isn't squeezing Benjamin out of faith. He's squeezing him out of fear. He's squeezing him like it's the last thing he's going to ever get. You can't grow when you squeeze something like it's the last thing you're going to ever get, even if it's squeezing money. Like it's the last you'll ever get, then you have prophesied against yourself. You have used faith in reverse. Fear is faith in reverse, to have confidence that that thing that you don't want is going to happen to you. He's holding the boy out of fear. And God is manipulating all of these circumstances to bring this family back together. He is wooing them back to a place so he can heal them. And wouldn't it be better to be healed than to be mad? And Jacob says to him, if I lose Benjamin, let me quote it just like he said it. And he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. And if mischief befall him by the way, see how Jacob is still in a place where he don't trust them. They're his children, and he don't trust them, and he has good reason not to trust them. He said, you're not going to get him, lest mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go. He says, if I go through with Benjamin what I went through with Joseph, my gray hairs are going to turn into sorrow and bring me to the grave. See, you get to a point in life that you've reached an age that you can't take no more pain. And he says, I can't afford to live through this again. And God is really behind it all, trying to pry Benjamin out of Jacob's hands. Because what Jacob doesn't understand, yes, the road's been bumpy. And yes, the road's been tough. And yes, the road's been difficult. And yes, you've shed some tears. And yes, you've endured some pain. But it is the bumpy road to better. It is the bumpy road to better. I know a lot of people that are doing better than me and have more stuff and more money and more recognition and more fame and more whatever you want to count it by than me. But none of them that I know have got there without a bumpy road. The road to better is bumpy. So if you're on a bumpy road, I'm telling you, you're headed to better. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? You can't get to better without bumpy. You can't get to better without pain. You can't get to better without tears. You can't be all buff if you don't work out. You can't lose weight if you don't push the food away. You can't get to better without bumpy. There is no pill you can take. There is no simple solution. It is the bumpiness of the road that leads you to better. Ultimately, Jacob will end up having to go to Egypt. And when Joseph sees his father, when Joseph sees his father, all of these years he's been living without the touch of his father. And all of a sudden he reveals himself. And he shows him who he is. The Bible says that one day, those who rejected Jesus are going to look on him whom they have pierced, and a nation shall be saved in a day. This day in the life of Joseph is a prophetic prediction of what will happen between Jesus and Israel, when all of a sudden they will look on him whom they have pierced and finally recognize he was the Messiah. He is the Lamb of God. He is the I am. He is the true vine. He is the living bread. He is the manna that came down out of heaven. He is. It wasn't a lie. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a fallacy. And the family will be reunited again. And all of a sudden they beheld him whom they had thrown away. And they fell down and said, "Oh, Joseph." And they now realize that Joseph, everything he went through was to position him to bless them. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? The reason God doesn't bless some people because you're selfish. The reason God doesn't bless some people is because you're only interested in you. Because you hate too long, and you're too angry, and you're too bitter to be trusted with that much power. God blesses people whose hearts are tender. And it was only when I saw Joseph's heart that I understood Joseph's blessing. Because Joseph was the son that could be trusted with favor. Because he would not use his favor to get even. He would not use his favor for revenge. He would use his favor to bring them into better. And so Joseph brings the family to better. The whole family dwells together in better. And not only does he bring them to better, he releases the guilt from the guilty. It's one thing to absolve the innocent, but it's another thing to acquit the guilty. He absolved the guilty because he was big enough to be blessed like that. He was big enough to be blessed like that. He was strong enough to be blessed like that. And that's why he was chosen from the very beginning, that God trusted him with trouble. God trusted him with rejection. God trusted him with pain. God trusted him with agony, because God knew his heart that when push came to shove, that love would always win out over revenge. God knew his heart that there was something down inside of him that was better than that. And if you want the favor of God in your life, you have to be prepared to ask yourself, can God trust you with favor? Can God trust you with power? Can God trust you with honor? Because until that answer is a resounding yes, the doors of your blessing will be closed. They're closed because you are too angry and too bitter and too vindictive. And God can't give you favor because you'll use it like witchcraft to bring curses on those who hurt you. And you'll know you're getting bigger when you start getting better. You've been praying to be bigger. You should have been praying to be better. There's somebody watching me right now. There's no reason in the world that somebody as talented to you as you are shouldn't be further than you are. You have the talent to go all the way to the top. But every time you try to go to the top, something blocks you. And God sent me to tell you it's not what's on the outside that's blocking you. It's the stuff you carry on the inside that always blocks you because you're so slick. And God has to keep showing you that you ain't as slick as you think you are. And your blessing has been delayed, and you wandered in the wilderness of almost getting there and never being able to get there because you've never been able to get your heart to the place that you could be trusted. God gives favor to people he can trust. But you are so transactional. Everything is a way for you to manipulate. And so you never get better. The Bible says none but the pure in heart shall see God. The word pure in the Greek is where we get the word catheter. And there is no way for you to see God until you put a catheter into your heart and get rid of the bitterness that is blocking you from your blessing. I'm still talking about the bumpy road to better. As I close tonight, I challenge you to look at Genesis 42 and even go on into Genesis 43 and watch God bring Jacob and his boys into a state of blessings that does not fade away. He had to fight lions and bears to protect sheep, altercations that could have killed him to get to this moment. But all of that was preparation for this moment, because it was with dealing with the bear and the lion that gave him the skill set to kill the giant. So a lot of times you ask God to save you from something that he's training you with. I'm talking about preparation. Do not think that because you come to a pivot point that you are through with tests. The tests that push you to the pivot point only bring you to the pivot point that you graduate to another level of tests. The reward for overcoming this test is the right to fight on the next level. Look at the preparation that has gone into making David who he was. Had his brothers embraced him, he would have stayed. Had his father accepted him, he wouldn't have moved into Saul's house. Perhaps Saul's invitation to invite him into the house was alluring to David because David longed for a father's voice. Perhaps David would not have been willing to move into the palace for the sake of the drapes and the pillars, but at the voice of a senior statesman, he moved into the house. And from that day forward, he went no longer back home. This is a pivoting moment. Anytime, what is that movie, baby, that anytime you have a moment where you call everybody and say, I won't come back home no more. Yeah, you got me. That's enough. The rest of y'all don't need it. Anyway, that's a pivoting moment. Della Reese was in the movie, I know that. Yeah. David called home and said, I won't be back. You can't believe I said that. I know, pray for me. You're not praying hard enough. I won't be back no more. Can you imagine David calling home telling Jesse, I'm out of here, I'm gone, I won't be back? Look at it. It's funny, but look at it. Look at how open David's heart is to the love of a father. And God knows exactly what to do to get you to pivot. And so David pivots and moves into the house. And Saul was the bait. Saul was the bait, but Jonathan was the hook. Because in the moment that he reached after Saul, he met Jonathan. And when he met Jonathan, it was, sometimes you do a thing and the thing is not the thing that you thought it was going to be, but it's the thing that leads to the thing. So don't be so busy being depressed about the thing that didn't work, because the thing that didn't work led you to the thing that did work, so that you can have an encounter with God. Are y'all with me? Everything that he has gone through has prepared him for this moment. That's why you don't despise anything that happened to you, anything that you went through. No matter how tough, no matter how difficult, it's taken you somewhere. If you got that, I could sit down. If you got that, the very thing that you grieved about, worried about, feel sorry for yourself about, say, why me, Lord? If you understood that that is a conveyor belt that is ushering you into your destiny, that these light afflictions, which are but for a moment, work for us a far more exceeding weight of glory. While we look not at the things that are seen, for the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. I can remember what I can remember, but I can't see what I can't see because it's going to be. But everything that I went through ushered me into everything that I'm about to do right now, and it gave me the grace to pivot because I am loyal to a fault. I would have stayed in that house. I would have stayed trying to convince them that I was a good person. I would have stayed running up and down the hills bringing them lunch. I would have stayed in the desert writing poetry, singing songs, taking care of sheep and shoveling sheep dung because I'm loyal. So God had to send something strong to make me sure. I want to talk to my loyal people in the house. Loyal people get hurt because loyal people expect loyalty. And when you sow loyalty and you don't reap loyalty, it will shatter you emotionally, April, because you're saying, I don't deserve this. And you're right, but God is using something you don't deserve to bring you into something that you do deserve. Oh, come on, somebody. Everybody who's ever had their heart broke, been disappointed, cried themselves to sleep, sat up all night worrying about yourself, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking around in the house by yourself looking dumb, holler, I'm in preparation. Everybody who had to fight stuff that was bigger than you, things that scared you to death, and you didn't have the kinds of weapons to be in the fight you were in, shout, I'm in preparation. Everybody who's ever been hated on, people been jealous of you while you were just struggling to make it through the best way you could, shout, I'm in preparation. You might not even know what you're in preparation for, but you know God, and you ought to get happy because God is preparing you. He's taking you somewhere. He's got something greater for you. And the greater the preparation, the greater the promise. The greater the preparation, the greater the prophecy. The greater the preparation, the more God is going to use you. I'm so glad I was afflicted. If I had not been afflicted, I couldn't stand what I go through now. But God was preparing me, turning up the heat. So what you call putting the heat on me is my normal. I eat that stuff for breakfast because of what I've been through. Who am I talking to in this house? Yeah. Touch 3 people and say preparation. Preparation is preparation. The trial is preparation. The test is preparation. The adversity is preparation. The crying is preparation. The divorce is preparation. The loneliness is preparation. It's preparation. It's preparation. You wouldn't have discovered that you were that tough if you hadn't gone through preparation. You didn't even know you had that talent. You didn't even know how to handle things by yourself. You learned because God put you in a state of preparation. I need 30 seconds of praise for people who are praising God for preparation. Now, let's go on. Number 2 is perspective. He has come into this new environment. He has come into a new environment. Now, this is going to hit some other group of people. You come into this new environment where your gift has brought you into a room that you do not have what you need to be where you are. So picture with me, he's sweaty, he smells. He's got sheep hair on him and dung on his shoes. He's been fighting a giant and he hasn't been home for a bath.
Yes, sir.
And now they've brought him into a palace.
Paint it.
He's walking around on granite floors and marble columns and cascading drapes that puddle in the floor. He's sitting in a situation where women are carrying water on their shoulders to pour bath water for the king. He's sitting in an environment, a palatial environment, where culinary skill artists are preparing exquisite cuisine for the royal family. And yesterday, he was out there with nobody around him but sheep. I'm telling you, God can put you in a room so fast that you don't have time to get your hair done. You don't have time to get your nails done. You don't have time to read a book on protocol. You're just standing up in the palace bowing at the service. You don't know who to bow at. You don't know what name to call them. God's getting ready to shift somebody so quickly. And if anybody walked into the palace and David was there, he appeared out of place. Watch this. You got to be willing to appear. See, a lot of y'all can't do that, because if you don't get accepted, they was acting funny when I came there, and they were looking at me like they were so much, and I left, I quit, I resigned, I was stupid. You're resigning from your own destiny. You're resigning from your own purpose. You're resigning from what God called you to do. And you're going to be out of place for a while. It's okay. I know you smell right now. I know you don't have the right clothes right now. I know you don't have the degrees they have. But if God invited you into the room, walk up. Walk up in that room. Walk right up in that room. Say, good morning. Somebody say, good morning. Now the king has invited him into the room, and the king's son has loved him as himself. One person out of the whole palace loves him. All you need is one. The love of one will open up the whole system to you. He loved him as himself. What kind of love is this? Oh God, I can't preach this fast. What kind of love is this? This inordinate affection. People have struggled to understand it. What kind of love is this? The reason they struggle to understand it is because it's a shadow of the love of Christ. It's the unsearchable riches of Christ's love. It's the undeserving love of Jesus Christ, that David didn't do anything to earn it. He didn't do anything to justify it. He just walked into it. That's how I got saved. I just walked into an everlasting love. I just walked into an environment with my stinky self, and I came in, and he loved me with an everlasting love. Now, I find myself in a situation. I find myself in a situation. Come here. No, not you, baby. Come on. Yeah, come here for a minute. Come here for a minute. We're going to do something for a minute. Take your jacket off. Yeah. Now, take it off. Yeah, take it off. That's all right. Give us a minute. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. I want you to put my jacket on. Now, that's a nice jacket you got on. That's a custom jacket you got on. No disrespect, but this is a store-bought jacket you got on. That's as far as it's gonna go. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. I love Joseph. I know he loves me. We got the love thing going, but we don't have the fit. How many times do we love people that we don't fit with? The unseen miracle in this text is not just that they loved each other, but God has so predestined this connection that without any tailoring, adjustments, sewing machines, or corrections, everything that was on Jonathan fits on David. Give me my coat. Touch me, people, say it fits, it fits, it fits, it fits. It fits, it fits, it fits my background, it fits where I came from, it fits my contours, it fits my uniqueness, it fits who I am, it fits where I came from. God will put you in a situation where it fits, it fits, it fits. That's the miracle that people miss. The likelihood of two strangers meeting and fitting perfectly is very unlikely. One of them would be tall, one of them would be short, one of them would have a gut like me, one of them would not have a gut, and they'd be built like him. But the fact that these two people met, loved each other, and their clothes fit means that God is up to something. Anytime you walk into something and it just fits, God is up to something. Who am I preaching to? I'm talking to somebody. I don't even know who it is. Come back, Joseph, for just a moment. We're going to act like it fit and it don't, but we're going to act like it fit. I chose you because it wouldn't fit, because I want to show people how many times we get yoked up with people that don't fit us. And there we are trying to force. If I would have kept trying to put your jacket on, I would have ripped it. I had to have the sense enough to discern that what looks good on you does not work on me. And I have to know that it doesn't fit, so I won't be foolish enough to be spending the rest of my message walking around in a jacket that I don't fit. But let's make believe that it fit, and that I'm wearing your jacket and you're wearing mine. Let's just pretend that it fits. In the exchange, he gives him his tunic, he gives him his robe, he gives him his sword. Oh my God. And it all fit. And all of a sudden, it means a whole lot of things. I won't exhaust all of them, but it means this. If I give you my sword, it means I'm defenseless against you. If I give you the sword, it means I give you the power to hurt me. If I give you my shield, that means whatever you send out against me, I'm going to bleed over it. If I give you my tunic, I have made myself naked before you. I have exposed myself to you. It means I trust you. If I give you my robe, you didn't have to hem it. You didn't have to tailor the sleeves. It all fits you. It means you are walking around, just walk around like you Bishop Jakes. Just imitate me like you do at home. Just walk around. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he is walking in my clothes, which changed the perspective of how people see him. You see, this is not just about protection. This is not just about armor. This is about perspective, because they took a misfit and redressed him and made him to fit in an environment he didn't fit. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who I'm talking to, but God said he's already got your tunic ready. He's already got your robe ready. He's already got your sword ready. He's already got your shield ready. And even though they're looking at you kind of funny right now, after a while, God's going to dress you for what's next for you. God's going to dress you for what's next for you. God's going to dress you for what's next for you. And it's going to change their perspective. This is bigger than any satirical style. This is not about fashion and coordination. This is about identity. This is about transformation. This is about metamorphosis. This is about turning a shepherd boy into a prince. There he was. One moment he's dressed like a shepherd boy, and the next moment he's dressed like a prince, and he didn't pay for any of it. God's going to give you stuff that you didn't pay for, houses that you didn't build, vineyards that you didn't grow. He's going to change your perspective until you look like you got more than you got. And that's why you got haters, because the haters can't understand how a girl like you could be in a position that you're in. But God has reserved some stuff that's just for you. And what God has for you, God has for you. No devil in hell can take what God has for you. He's been waiting on you to get to such a time like this. Slap somebody and say, I'm getting ready to change the perspective. Get ready for a transformation. My old friends may not like it, but get ready for a transformation. God is opening up a new door and a new perspective, and he's getting me ready. And I'm not going to be walking around looking like Bobo the Fool. In a minute, I'm going to have everything I need to fit where I am, whoever I'm preaching to. If this feels like a word from God for you, holler at your boy. Holler, holler. Yeah. So stop praying about what you don't have. Stop worrying about what you don't have. God's already taken it in consideration. And when you get to the right place, the provision is going to be there. When you get to the right place, everything you need is going to be there. When you get to the right place, God's already got somebody who's going to like you well enough that you don't even have to pay for it. They're just going to lay it at your feet. And when you put it on, it's going to look like yours. And you're going to be walking in a palace that you didn't own, that you didn't build, that wasn't in your lineage, that wasn't it wasn't even from your family. But what God has for you, he's going to have for you. Whoever built your house didn't know they was building it for you. Whoever built our house didn't know they was building it for us. They thought they was building it for somebody else. But when God's got something for you, he'll let somebody else do the hard stuff, and all you got to do is put it on. And the Holy Ghost told me to tell you, don't be afraid to put it on. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you're coming to a season where you got to put it on. You got to put it on and wear it like it's yours. And the pauper is wearing the prince's clothes.